Hey guys, it's Savannah with Ecofine Properties, and today I am coming to you with some very exciting news regarding HOAs here in Florida. For those of you who don't know, I live out in Loxahatchee with no HOA for a great reason. I don't like to be told what I can and cannot do with my property. But for those of you who do love HOAs, there are definitely a ton of pros to being in an HOA. You may want to listen up because Governor DeSantis has made some interesting changes or signed off on a bill that agrees to some interesting changes for HOA communities. With that said, let's take a look at some of the major changes that this bill is going to bring into place for our fellow HOA friends, right? Number one, fines and restrictions. HOAs can no longer impose fines for things like leaving trash cans out or putting up holiday decorations. This is a huge win for homeowners who want to enjoy their property without the constant oversight, right? We always love those good old retired HOA cops going around monitoring everyone's property. I know my mom lives in one of those communities. If her trash can's not up, they will let her know. So goodbye to those days. Doesn't mean that somebody won't pester you about it, but at least they cannot impose fines, which is great news for HOAs. Number two, education for directors. Another significant change in the mandatory education for HOA directors. This aims to ensure that those in charge are well informed and capable of making their decisions. This is huge, okay? Because we let just about anybody on the HOA board. And for those of you who have experienced that, it does help to have knowledgeable people. Look, you're running a business. The HOA is a business. There is accounting involved. There is project management involved. There are a lot of skills involved to make sure that things are happening fairly and that you're using your citizens or your homeowners' money effectively, right? So this is great news, in my opinion, as a change coming to the HOAs. Number three, record access and transparency. Oh my goodness, if you are a real estate agent, you understand this. You cannot call and get any information from some HOAs. They won't provide it to you. The owner has to ask for it. They have to pay for it. Whatever it is, there sometimes can be a very difficult time getting transparency from the HOAs or getting records so that buyers can do the proper due diligence prior to buying a property in an HOA. So this law also introduced criminal penalties for blocking access to records and requires digital transparency. This means you'll have better access to HOA documents and decisions. Yes, this is great news because with the change in condos, right, and in milestone inspections, budgets, financials, etc., it's very important for buyers to have access to this information so they can make the right decision on the property that they're purchasing and whether or not that HOA fits their lifestyle. This is going to eliminate issues down the road because if that buyer decides they don't like what they see in the HOA rules and regulations or bylaws, then they choose not to buy there, and that's less headache for the HOA anyways. So all good news to me, I think, with these changes coming up. But not least, the fourth change, perhaps one of the most exciting changes in this bill that Governor DeSantis did pass, was the change in vehicle and installation regulations. Are you listening to me, people with pickup trucks? Yay! Or work vans. This is huge news. HOAs are prohibited from banning certain vehicles. This is huge because there are so many HOAs in South Florida that do not allow pickup trucks or vans with work labels on them, right? And look, we can go back and forth. I understand that if they're in disrepair and they don't look great, that's not always best for the community values. We can talk pros and cons on that all day long. But the reality is there are a large amount of townhomes and condos that are in affordable price points for buyers, and they work in trade skill businesses that require them to have a truck or a work van with a label on it. And they need that as a place of their work, and they're getting pushed out of our areas that they can afford because they can't have their truck there, and that's a problem. So I think that this change really opens up the communities for buyers that could really take the affordable housing and the options for them and allow them to still work and use their vehicles that they need to keep their jobs on a day-to-day basis. So the law change includes, not only vehicle restrictions, but also installation regulations. I love this one too, guys. How many times do we hate having to get HOA approval to install things that are not visible, like air conditioning units? Why does the HOA have to have anything said about installing a new air conditioning? So now I'm out of air conditioning and I have to wait for the HOA to approve my air conditioning? It doesn't make any sense. No one's benefiting from that rule. And so if the property or the improvement that you want to make, the installation that you want to make is not visible, then the HOA does not have the right to regulate those installations. And I think that's a huge win for homeowners. This is giving people more freedom to make choices that best suit their needs. Of course, there's pros and cons, and we'll talk about the arguments on both ends as well. But overall, I think these 4 things are a huge win for homeowners looking in HOA communities, whether you live in them or you're looking to buy in them. This gives a small win to the homeowners, gives a little bit more power in their pocket, and takes a little bit more power from the HOAs, which in some cases have really taken advantage of it, right? So with that said, let's talk about the arguments, right? Homeowner versus HOA. What do we really think about these changes? And here's what people are saying. So what is the community actually saying about these changes? Well, obviously, homeowners' perspective, they are thrilled. These reforms are great. It's about time we had more freedom and less interference from the HOA is a direct quote from the community. So definitely, as a real estate agent, I hear it all the time. People do not want to be told what to do with their property. Now, of course, the HOA director's perspective is, well, some of these changes are welcomed. Look, it's easier for them too. It's less to regulate. Others might make it challenging to maintain community standards. So it's a mixed bag, right? And that's always going to be the constant thing to weigh is how do we allow people to enjoy and live in their property, but also maintain community standards, whether that be the common maintenance of your home, the appearance, how we maintain the community overall. And so, there's going to be a mixed bag of emotions around the regulative change. But like I said, again, I'm biased. I live in no HOA. I think these things are a great difference. It's a huge positive impact to see come to the HOA world here in South Florida and Florida in general, right? This is going to affect all of the state of Florida. So I'm very excited about it. I already have clients that I'm sending this out because they have trucks and they can't afford a home with no HOA. And this is going to give them options where they can still stay in Palm Beach County and not have a terrible commute to work and still be able to have their work vehicle or truck parked at their home. So huge win for the HOA. I'm super excited about this change. I hope you are too. This just brings more opportunities to the Florida real estate market, which I personally love. Overall, the reform is set to bring more transparency, accountability, and freedom to Florida homeowners, which, where's the complaint in that? I think it's a positive thing, but I would love to know your thoughts. Drop them down below. Tell me what you think about it. Are you pro the change, the new bill law, or are you con? Do you not love it? Drop the comments below. If you have any questions, as always, and you're looking to make a move to South Florida, Palm Beach County in specifics, give me a call, 786-251-4177. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great day.